This is a 1960 Remington Noiseless No. 10 typewriter. It is one of the very last of the noiseless design that was ever produced. As far as I know, Remington and Underwood were pretty much the only ones that used the mechanism that deadened out the noise from using a typewriter. And the Remington Noiseless machines were made up to 1963. And this is a machine that is approximately from there, but I'm not sure as the serial number does not add up with the typewriter database. I bought this machine on Craigslist for $10. When I originally got it, it was not working. Apparently the typewriter had been abandoned in the street, and the lady that I bought it from found it there years ago. Apparently it had been outside for weeks, but luckily during the summer season, so it hadn't rusted out. Unfortunately, the keyboard sustained heavy damage for whatever reason. It clearly had been abused. Either something had been dropped on top of it, or somebody bashed it. But when I found, or when I bought the machine, the entire keyboard had a curve that went like this. Every single type bar from about the E onto about the P was completely bent and jammed solid. There were about 5 keys here that worked, and about 2 on this side that even remotely just that moved a little bit, but the center keys were completely stuck. It took me about a day to straighten them out as good as possible to make them functional again. As you can see, there's still that unalignment look to the keyboard, and unfortunately I haven't resolved the problem 100%. Here's the mechanism. This wasn't damaged at all when I found it. It was just a bit gummed up. Somebody literally took an oil spray can and sprayed the inside of the machine. It was a nightmare when I got it. Now the noiseless mechanical designs are really difficult to clean, so unfortunately I haven't been able to get down into the nitty-gritty of the mechanism. As you can see, it is still quite oily. However, I have removed the majority of the old oil, and the mechanism wasn't damaged when the keyboard got bashed. So as you can see, they do stick a little bit, and the reason for that is because the bars are still not straightened out properly. If I really was to straighten them out the way they should be, I probably have to get new metal bars for the keys. Unfortunately, this machine is just not worth it. It has quite some cosmetic damage, as you can see, and on the sides as well. The 8th key was missing when I got the machine, and other keys were damaged for whatever reason. The spacebar was heavily chipped on this side, and I decided to just sand it down a bit more so it didn't look as bad as it did before, which is why that chunk's missing. I happen to... Now I still have these. These are the keys from a 1969 Olivetti Linea 88 that I had many years ago. I think it was now 4 or 5 years ago that I had this machine, and that I got rid of it. Actually, I used it mainly for parts because the mechanism on it was quite worn out, and it was just an ugly plastic machine that nobody wanted to buy or even have. So I decided to use it for parts. Now these are a couple of the keys I just took out of the bag, and as you can see, they have the same slot where the metal bars go in as they have on the keys of this Remington. Now they're a little bit different in shape and size, as you can see, compared to the original key and the Olivetti key. But the reason why I replaced these was because they were just too badly damaged to make the machine even look remotely nice. I mean, you can see it's mismatched keys, but the keyboard's uneven anyways. However, these keys, I don't know what's happened to it, but they are in really bad shape, as you can see. And this one, now the Z especially, look, it's just completely rubbed, like it looked like it rubbed against something. They took a file to it or something and they just damaged it. I don't know. It was really sad when I found it that the entire side of this keyboard was just badly damaged. So I decided to put these keys on. As I got rid of my Remington TYPEWRITER parts machine quite a while ago, unfortunately, which meant I didn't have spare keys for that. Actually, it's sold, so. But anyways, yes, so I replaced those keys. And they work fine. They fit really snugly onto those metal bars and they type very well, and the pressure is still even and the height difference doesn't really bother me that much. I don't use this machine quite a lot. I don't intend to, because the keyboard's just too badly damaged for it to type nice. The tension is way too strong. You can feel the friction that's between the guide plate and the metal bars. And it just isn't that pleasant to write with anymore, unfortunately, despite the work that I've put into fixing it. But that's just the way it is. I did try to clean it up really nice, and it definitely has, as you can see. I called the machine Hemingway because it's a writer and it's incredibly durable. It's hard to kill, like the writer himself. Over here we have all these standard type switches, so your paper release. Actually, this is the ratchet release, as you can see. And here's your line spacing, so 1, 2, and 3. These switches here, if you push here on the side and you flick this forward, like this, it releases the platen, so you can take it out for easy cleaning. The back panel comes up with 2 screws only, that's it. And then it's held in place underneath by 2 hooks. And it carries these Remington spool systems, which are different than the ones you buy at Staples, for example. It has these wider hole spools that you can put underneath, or you can just install the ribbon without the spools. But in my case, I have the spools installed, just for easy replacement. Okay. So I apologize for the bad view. It's because my regular tripod is in the trunk of the car, and this is a old tripod that I got in a thrift store, and that's completely worn out. So I think this will work for now. So here's the type sample. As you can see, it has a clear impression. You wouldn't say that there's any problem with the typing, but just the keyboard does not have a pleasant feel to it, and therefore I won't be using it. Because when I'm writing, I really need to have that good typewriter feel, and of course the Remington Noiseless feel is already not that pleasing, but then especially with this keyboard that just has all those metal bars bent, it feels really stiff and really unpleasant. So Yes, it's mostly a decoration piece. I mean, it is quite an unusual machine, and you don't see that much of them, these late noiseless models. Anyway, there you have it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day. Bye bye.